Making real estate your career is a big decision to make. I know when I did it in 2000, it was not easy, but I did learn a lot of stuff over the last 25 years. I wanted to share a few with you that today in my podcast, because it's real important that you come up with a plan, at least a unique plan. Now, if you're going out to go against all the other realtors and buying and selling, and you're going to be a buyer, that's a whole different format, which this is not the podcast for that. But what I do is unique services. So when I did it back in the day, when I learned 2000, I learned that I wanted to be a realtor. So I got my license, and then what do you do after that? So I didn't know. So I was buying my own investment real estate and stuff, but I wanted to get out and get other people. So I started sending postcards out during that time, because the internet wasn't real huge then. And at the end of the day, I made a ton of money off one postcard I'd been doing for about 3 weeks, or excuse me, 4 weeks. I sent them out every week, and I just did it religiously. But again, I picked up one postcard that made me, in the six figures. One postcard did. So it was really a good situation. Now, as far as unique plan, it's, what are unique services? I do rentals, I do property management, I have a construction company, I sell, I buy, I do a lot of different services. I have my own YouTube channel that I update my people with, so they're always updated. I have many different websites that I built with the information of my unique services and how they work for my clients. I always want to be upfront on that. Now, the other thing that I do a lot is when I I'm working on a deal right now with some buyers that they're giving me the buy, and they want me to sell their house. So I'm going to give them a better price on the sell their house, so they can have more money. They make a decision to go with me. I'm going to reward them for that, and they'll tell 100 people, because this is the second one that this family has bought from me. The first house was actually up in Toledo, Ohio, where it was a referral. But this particular realtor, I really checked some realtors out, and it was a Key Realty. He was great, and I can't come up with his name right now, but he helped the gentleman move out, sold the house, recognized it was on a golf course. They made about $30,000 more than they thought, so they were very, very happy. Now, when you do something and you're doing this, it may take a minute. It's not instant. I have some people I'm meeting with Friday that's starting their program on investment real estate and stuff. And he's got to get he wants to get to 50 properties before he's really getting somewhere. But during that time, he's leasing them, he's buying them, he's got income there. Maybe not with the management right away, but he will. So you want to take him in. It's going to take time. Be patient, be direct. And always do extra stuff if you want. Just make sure you always get paid. I see a lot of agents saying, well, they're not paying me, but it'll be a referral. Well, that's not the way it works. You're a professional. You have certain tools that nobody else has. You need to promote that. Make sure that works for you. I had a guy call me. I'll tell you a story that just a couple of days ago. I went and spoke to a conference, and this particular person was there. And after the meeting, they just promoted they didn't need realtors. They didn't need me. They were going to create their own construction. They're going to do everything, construction company. They were going to buy their own properties, wholesale. Everything was going to go great because this guy knew what he was doing. Well, fast forward to a year, they bought a house, and they thought it was in Beechwood, Ohio, but it wasn't. It was actually in Cleveland, and it doesn't have a garage, and they're going to lose money on it. So there's nothing else. There's nothing I can do. So he calls me and he says, hey, can you help me out with this? And I had to inform him, I had no interest in doing it because it was a loser deal. You should have came through me. But because of his comments and stuff, he was not going to be easy to work with anyway. So I didn't want anything to do with him. But at the end of the day, he has a partner in this, and his partner's really ticked off because they're going to lose money. That's because he wouldn't go with people and deal with people that are here on boots on the ground, you call them, right? So that's one thing you want to promote with your services. If somebody calls you, I was talking to an agent the other day, and they said, well, I didn't know, the owner had it rented already, the house. Well, you want to promote why you should be renting now. Do they need a background check, credit check? They go, well, they could be family members. Well, you definitely don't want to rent to a family. You want to end a relationship, you rent to them. So there's a lot of stuff that you bring to the table, marketing. You're going to do all the work, the lease, make sure that everything is, here in Cleveland, you have to have occupancy permits to put in on each rental, and they better be put in or you're going to get in trouble. So unique services can make you a lot of money. I know my construction, my maintenance, other stuff that I've created makes me money, but it also services the clients. That's the key. You don't want to focus on the profits. You want to focus on the service. You'll make a little money, but make sure that the client is always taken care of, because if they're not, they won't be around anymore. I had a plumbing thing come in that was $3,200, and the owner of that house, he was obviously not happy. But when I sent some other people out of my crews, we got it done for $150, because some stuff need to be replaced, some stuff just need to be fixed. When it's a rental property, it's different than a retail property. So there's differences there, and that's stuff that you need to know and make sure that you understand and keep track of your business. I mean, every day you want to get up market every single day. And when you don't do that, then that's an issue. I just got my new patches for the back of my jackets. I mean, they're 8 inches long. I mean, they're big, but I'm going to promote my company and take care of that. I had a client call me this week. We went out and looked at a nice property, and they're going to let me sell their property because they know what I do. I let them know. I let everybody know. They see it on social media, my blog, everything. So if you're going to make real estate your career, make it your career. Get all in on it, but make sure that you're doing everything that benefits the client, and make sure they know that, and make sure they know that you're a professional doing it. And I was listening to an attorney talk to a crowd, and he was talking about a deal where a buy owner didn't want to pay the commissions after they closed when they agreed to do that, and the realtor kind of let it go, which I don't understand. I would have went after the seller after I closed. You can't stop a closing. But I immediately raised my hand. I said, well, do you get a weekly paycheck? And he goes, yeah. I go, we don't. So when you're looking at real estate and as a career, make sure that you're going to get paid, because if you're going to do stuff for free, you're not going to be around too long. And if you're going to get, you don't have to make a ton of money on everything, but I always get paid for what I do, because it's important that I do get paid. That way I can keep in business. I can keep getting my services better and better and better. So there you go. Making a real estate your career, you got to be serious about it. How are you going to promote? How are you going to take care of your clients? Sometimes it's a lot of extra work. Your commission starts to dwindle when you start doing more and more work, which is fine. That's what you have to do. It's a little bit of work, but you're building a career, you're building your brand, and you're building your services. And when you do that, then you're going to be sought after, and you're going to have a really, really good business. So I'm Brett. This is Brett's Real Estate Podcast. You can call me at 216-703-5740. I have somebody coming up Friday to learn the business. But give me a call and see what we can do. But again, I'm with Key Realty. Great company, $450 a month, $250 a year for the. And that's it. They charge you $250 a year for the E&O, and that's it. So if you're thinking about changing brokerages, I can show you how to maybe do some services. I'll give you a day if you go with me. You can come and meet with me, and I'll show you what I do. If you join Key Realty, if you don't, then it will cost. But it's a good way to learn a career. I'm Brett with Key Realty. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.